Allan Behm is Director of International and Security Affairs Program at the Australia Institute, and you're also the former senior advisor to the former Shadow Minister for Foreign Affairs, Penny Wong. You're joining us from Canberra. Thank you for your time today. Is the Trump effect real? I'm just going to add a little preface for our viewers. The Trump effect, as it is starting to be known, is that Trump seems to provide a win in other countries for people who are not his supporters, for people who are not on the same political side as him. Exhibit 1 was Canada, where the Liberals were going to lose, according to the polls, and then Trump came in and threatened them and threatened to take over Canada, and they won. Exhibit 2 appears to be Australia, where the Liberals were, so that's the Labour Party, were behind in the polls. Trump came into office and they just won.
Well, you've put it very, very well, I think, Cyril. We've had quite an interesting flirtation with Trumpism in Australia. And, of course, we have our own name for that. We call it Bunyip Trumpism. Bunyips being a mythical Australian creature, which are rather horrible and little. And so what we have seen in Australia is that the Australian electorate has effectively rejected Trumpism. What the Australian electorate has chosen is stability and a program of action which will address the issues that actually affect the Australian community, which are things like health, education, housing and housing costs, the availability of housing, wages, the things that are at the heartland in all governments around the world. And so what we've seen here is that the uncertainty caused by Trump, which the opposition had played upon, has been defeated by the people, and Mr Albanese is a Prime Minister in his own right with a thumping majority.
Is he now in a better position to stand up to Trump? And when I say stand up to Trump, I mean, I know, and we all know, I think, that Australia is a very close ally to the U.S. traditionally. However, Australia was very surprised to see that it too was being hit by Trump's tariffs. Albanese now has a bigger majority. He has a political mandate that has just been renewed. Is he more able to stand up to Trump or deal with Trump or just handle him in a way that suits Australia's interests?
Again, a point very well made. The government has now got clear air. It was jockeying with the opposition, which has long paraded its ability to manage the relationship with the United States and its ability with the economy as being superior to that of the Albanese party, the Labor Party. What we've seen now, though, is with a majority, which is a very significant one, the government has now got clear air where it can recalibrate Australia's relationship with the United States, moving it away from a much more subordinate relationship, which is what I think your points implied, to one which is much more self-directed, where there is a much better balance of Australian and American interests in the way in which the bilateral relationship works. Yes, we remain a very close ally of the United States, but we are now, I think, capable of defining ourselves as an ally which is well able to pursue its own interests, as well as working with the United States in the pursuit of its interests.
And so I wonder, since Australia is a very big trade partner of China, and China is, of course, the main target of the American/Trump tariffs, would that cause Australia to recalibrate its position between the U.S. and China?
Look, Australia is working pretty effectively with China at this point. I mean, we had our ups and downs in the COVID period and in the immediate year after COVID, but most of that has been repaired, and we are, China and Australia, building a relationship which is much more about the present and the future rather than one built around the past. That being said, Australia is, of course, concerned at the global impact of the tariffs which Trump has imposed upon China and the retaliation that China has applied to the United States. So what we are seeking to do in Australia, and what the government is certainly pursuing under the Foreign Minister, Penny Wong, is a relationship with China which takes account of our economic interests as well as our security interests. I mean, if you don't have a strong economy, you're not secure. And that is very well understood in Australia. And so we are working with China to make sure that the economic relationship is robust and strong, and at the same time that we have a robust and strong relationship with our major security partner, which is America.
Allan Behm, Director of International and Security Affairs Program at the Australia Institute. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to keep up to date with all our latest research and work, sign up to our newsletter. Delivered every fortnight, it includes behind-the-scenes updates from Richard Dennis, an exclusive cartoon from Judy Horacek, details for our upcoming events and webinars, as well as explainers, graphs, and not to mention the latest cutting-edge research and analysis from the team here on the key issues that are facing Australia. Click the button on your screen to check it out.